Students, in this video we are going to discuss about the most important topics from standard 12 chapter 14, 15 and 16, biomolecules, polymers and chemistry in everyday life. These are the very important topics for the board JEE NEET and GujCET examination. Please go through this topic to improve your score in upcoming examinations. First, from chapter 14, biomolecules. The general formula for the carbohydrate is CxH2OY. CxH2OY. Question based on the structure of glucose. The presence of 6 carbon atom in a structure of glucose by stage chain is confirmed when glucose is treated with hydroiodic acid, gives N-hexane. This treatment of glucose with hydroiodic acid gives N-hexane gives confirm the presence of 6 carbon atom in a glucose. Glucose on reaction with hydroxylamine gives oxime and with HCN gives cyanohydrin. This confirm the presence of carbonyl group in the structure of glucose. Glucose on reaction with bromine water gives gluconic acid. This indicates the presence of aldehyde group in the structure of glucose. Glucose on reaction with acetic anhydride gives glucose pentaacetate. This indicates the presence of 5-OH group in the structure of glucose. Glucose and gluconic acid on oxidation with strong oxidizing agent like nitric acid gives saccharic acid. This confirms the presence of primary alcohol group in the structure of glucose. There will be the most of the chances that there will be the question directly based on the open chain structure of glucose. Cyclic structure of the glucose can be proved by the following 4 points. First, the glucose does not give skip base test and so reaction with sodium bisulfite even though it consists of aldehyde group. Glucose pentaacid does not form oxime with reaction with NH2OH and glucose form anomers, alpha form and beta form. C1 carbon atom of the glucose is anomeric in nature. Glucose is represented by pyran ring structure. Glucose contains the 4 asymmetric carbon atom or stereocenter. Glucose is also known as aldohexose. It is mostly dextrorotatory in nature. On the other side, fructose, here C2 carbon is anomeric in nature. Here it is again 2 types, alpha and beta. Furan ring is present in the structure of fructose. Fructose is known as ketohexose. It possesses 3 asymmetric carbon ketone group and 2 primary alcohol group. Fructose normally show the levorotatory in nature. 2 monosaccharide units are joined together by glycosidic linkage in the structure of disaccharide. 2 monosaccharides are joined together. Most important disaccharides are sucrose, maltose and lactose. Sucrose, here C1 of alpha D glucose with C2 of beta D fructose get involved in a glycosidic linkage. It is a non-reducing sugar and inverse sugar. On the other side, maltose is known as malt sugar. Here C1 of alpha D glucose with C4 of alpha D glucose. Here it is a reducing sugar and by maltase it can be reduced. Lactose is called as milk sugar. Here C1 of beta D galactose with C4 of beta D glucose. It is also the reducing sugar. Whereas starch and cellulose are the example of polysaccharides. Starch divided into 2 parts, amylose and amylopectin. Amylose is a linear polymer which is water soluble in nature, whereas amylopectin is a branch polymer and water insoluble in nature. Cellulose is made up of C1 of alpha D glucose with beta D glucose with C4 of beta D glucose unit. It is also called as animal starch. Proteins are made up of alpha amino acids. The name of the protein based on its properties or from which it is derived. For example, glycine, sweet in taste, and tyrosine derived from the cheese. General structure of glucose amino acid R, NH2H, COOH group is present in the structure of amino acid. Essential amino acid are those which is required from the diet. Example, valine, leucine, isoleucine, lysine, etc. Whereas non-essential amino acids are those which synthesize in body and does not require from the diet. Example, glycine, alanine, glutamic acid, etc. Acidic amino acid like aspartic acid and glutamic acid and sulfur containing amino acid cysteine and methionine. ये सब नाम आपको अच्छे से याद रखने हैं. Optically inactive amino acid सिर्फ अकेला एक ही है, glycine. When 2 amino acids glycine and alanine join together, then OH group from the carboxylic and hydrogen from amino group of the another amino acid get involved in a glycosidic linkage and form a peptide bond. NH2CH2 COOH CH3 COOH. This is called as glycylalanine. If 2 amino acids join together, this form a dipeptide, 3 amino acid tripeptide, 4 amino acid tetrapeptide likewise. Amino acids protein are mainly 2 types, fibrous protein and globular protein. Fibrous protein held together by the hydrogen bond and disulfide bond, water insoluble in nature, example keratin and myosin. Globular proteins are coil-shaped protein, water soluble in nature, example albumin and insulin. Secondary structure of protein. Here there are two types, alpha helical structure and beta pleated structure. Tertiary structure of protein stabilized by hydrogen bond, disulfide bond, van der Waals bond and electrostatic force of attraction. Quaternary structure of the protein is the most complex structure of the protein and divided into subunit, alpha, beta unit, subunit likewise. Primary structure of the protein is the simplest structure of the protein obtained by simple peptide bond between the amino acids. Primary structure of protein does not undergo denaturation. Only structure which does not undergo denaturation. Vitamins important amine, vital amines. Vitamins, water soluble vitamins are two types, vitamin B and C, whereas fat soluble vitamin are A, D, E, K. Among vitamin B, vitamin B12 is a fat soluble in nature. Scientific name of the vitamins, उसके बेस पे definite questions होता है. Vitamin A known by the retinol, vitamin B1 thiamine, vitamin B2 riboflavin, vitamin B6 pyridoxine, B12 cobalamin, vitamin C ascorbic acid, vitamin C D calciferol, vitamin E tocopherol and vitamin K phytonadione. Nucleic acids, phosphodiester linkage is present in the structure of nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are mainly two types, DNA and RNA. DNA played an important role in a genetic information transformation, whereas RNA played an important role in a protein synthesis. DNA is called as deoxyribonucleic acid, whereas RNA ribonucleic acid. DNA is a double stranded, whereas RNA is a single stranded. In DNA, purine bases adenine and guanine. Same purine bases are present in RNA, that is adenine and guanine. Whereas pyrimidine bases in DNA, thymine and cytosine is present, whereas in an RNA, instead of thymine, uracil and cytosine is present. Adenine combined with thymine by double bond and guanine with cytosine by triple bond. ATGC, आते जाओ. Whereas in RNA, instead of thymine, uracil is present. AUGC. Base plus sugar plus phosphate unit is called as nucleotide, but only base and sugar is called as nucleoside. चैप्टर 15 अगर हम बात करेंगे पॉलीमर में, तो वहाँ से मोनोमर्स, preparation of polymers and uses of the polymers, specific nylon 66, nylon 6, bunion, bunas, PHBV, Teflon, Arlon, Dacron, SDP, LDP, Bakelite, melamine and nylon 2, nylon 6. ये सब सबसे ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. नाइलॉन 66, ब्यूनाइन, ब्यूनाएस, PHBV एंड नाइलॉन 2, नाइलॉन 6 सबसे ज़्यादा चांसेस रहते हैं इसके बेस पे क्वेश्चन आने के. चैप्टर नंबर 16. Dettol is a mixture of chloroxylenol and terpenol. Chloroxylenol and terpenol are the two chemicals present in the Dettol. 0.2% phenol acts as an antiseptic, whereas 1% phenol acts as a disinfectant. In the birth control pill, it is a synthetic mixture of estrogen and progesterone. Aspartame is 100 times more sweet than sugar and it is used in a preparation of cool drinks, whereas saccharose is 550 times more sweetener than sugars. Sucralose 600 times more sugar than sugar and it is stable at cooking temperature, whereas elitame is 2000 times more sweet than sugar. All these aspartame, saccharin, sucralose and elitame are the example of artificial sweetening agent. Sodium benzoate is widely used as a food preservative. Soap is produced by saponification process in the presence of alkali. Detergents are mainly three types: anionic detergents, cationic detergent and non-ionic detergents. Anionic detergents, sodium lauryl sulfate, this kind of detergents are used in our day-to-day household work. Whereas cationic detergent, cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide, it is widely used in a hair condition and as a germicide. Whereas non-ionic detergent, it is a ester of stearic acid and polyethylene glycol and it is widely used in a liquid dishwash. All the unbranched detergents act as a biodegradable in nature. So these are the some of the most important topic from chapter 14, 15, 16. Please do prepare it well for the board examination and upcoming board, JEE and NEET examination. Please share the video with your friends and enjoy your study. Good luck.